Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Devin and I read books, and we just hit 100 subscribers. I think now we're actually at like 104, but thank you all. You are all gentlemen and women and scholars. It's been a spectacular experience kind of coming back while I was at my old job and really kind of doing much cooler content overall all through Old School April. Do have a couple of small minor updates. Unfortunately, I was actually laid off, so we are going to see a couple more of these little talkie videos while I finish up vlogs. I've been having interviews, so I don't foresee this being too much of a hiccup, but the schedule at my interim work is a little bit up and down. It's pretty terrible. You'll hear about it in the Romantasy vlog that I'm hoping to wrap up this weekend. So we will have a couple more of these kind of more casual videos, but followed by several vlogs kind of coming out almost in rapid fire succession. I'll probably wrap them up a little bit, but one video has to come out at the end of this month on the last day of June. Internet provider willing. I swear to God, every single time I set a firm date for a vlog, my ISP takes an extra 3 days to upload. But we're gonna combine what was gonna be my queer horror vlog with my 100 subscriber celebration, and we are gonna do basically a 24-hour readathon with all of those books that we had previously discussed that I have right here still. Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. Feast While You Can by Michaela Clements and Anjuli Datta. And Thirst by, oh, this was the name I was gonna butcher, Marina Yutschik. I'm sorry if you happen to be watching this. For sure, we are going to just do a full lock-in style video. All of that aside, today's video, we are going to talk about some books I didn't like from authors that I really did. So, I want to put this out there now that out of the 4 books we're going to talk about, I only still own one of them. The rest just did not do it for me. I'm still open to other books by these authors, but get them off my shelf. I'm not going to read them anymore. And we are going to start, I'm going to pull one of his other books, the ever famous Nick Cutter. I love The Queen. I love The Troop. I really did not like The Deep. I think at least a small part of it is I'm not a body horror person in general. It also just, the story in general didn't work as well. A lot of the characters didn't work quite as well. We'd get really good glimpses into some of the characters' pasts, but the relationships just weren't there for a lot of them, except with the dog, and that's all we're gonna say about that. It just didn't do it for me, even the body horror stuff aside. And then the ending was wild. Just this kind of third act revelation I just don't felt worked at all. So that was not for me, and I did trade that in. Number 2, I kind of went back and forth on, because I don't know how fair it is to put it on this list, but that is Eruption, which was technically finished by James Patterson and originally written by Michael Crichton. 2 authors that I love. Sphere, Congo, Andromeda Strain, Jurassic Park, and then on the James Patterson side, we have the entire Alex Cross books, right? Kiss the Girls is spectacular. Along Came a Spider is wonderful. Roses Are Red. But I did not like Eruption at all. At all. I've talked about it a little bit, felt the pacing was wrong. And I could tell James Patterson was going for that Michael Crichton page turner pacing, but it didn't work. There's almost too much going on character-wise, so like things never really develop between characters and some of the decisions, and I don't know if some of that is because James Patterson was trying to work with material, like plot material and character material that was already established, and he was just really trying to finish that out, or if it was only established a little bit, like only a little bits and pieces of it were done, and so James Patterson filled in the gaps with what he was thinking. I don't know. It didn't work. It clashed with itself a lot. The concept was interesting. I think the execution just kind of fell through, and I think part of that is, even though both authors are particularly good at writing page-turning thrillers, they have very, very, very different like subspecialties and very different specific skill sets. James Patterson never goes into the sciences the way Michael Crichton does. He just never has. Two, outside of a couple characters, I don't think James Patterson's character work is quite as good as Michael Crichton's was, and I think that is part of the problem as well. Either way, it just didn't work for me. I had a really hard time getting through it. I even tried audioing it, and it wasn't happening. Book number 3, I talked about in another vlog. And this book, I never owned this book, so I did not like buy it and trade it in. I just didn't own it because I just knew from talking to people who were fans of this author's other series that I might not enjoy this one in particular. And that was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. So I audiobooked it, and I thought the audible narration was great. I thought that was wonderful. I have talked on this channel a bit about how I really did like the main ACOTAR trilogy. I didn't read the novella, and I didn't read Silver Flames. I felt the story was wrapped up. I thought a lot of characters were tied up well. I thought Sarah J. Maas did a really good job with characters and character flaws and histories and lore and backgrounds and all this other stuff. And I felt the exact opposite with Throne of Glass. I don't mind that it was very Hunger Gamesy. That didn't bother me. That's a trope that I'm perfectly okay with. There's a lot, I've talked about it again. It's another thing I talk about all the time. I like tropes sometimes. I like to mix in books that have tropes, and I know what I'm getting into, and I'm just here for a fun ride. My problem with Throne of Glass is I didn't find the world particularly interesting, and some of that might be because it's one book in like a 13 book series. I get that, but I really didn't like the main character. I'm gonna offend somebody by saying this, but Celaena is like a teenager's D&D insert character, or like fan fiction insert character into this world. Like it's just not believable in any way. Even Pharaoh is like way more toned down than Celaena. I'm the best, most dangerous, blah blah blah. It didn't work for me, and I felt like a lot of the side characters just didn't get enough development, which is strange because some of them get their own POV chapters, but they just didn't. I honestly don't really remember all of their names, and I just finished it. I know there's the captain of the guard and the actual prince, and that's kind of the love triangle. And then Celaena has a friend, I don't remember her name, in the court who is from Celaena's home country, but it didn't work. Overall, it just wasn't a particularly enjoyable experience to get through that. Knowing that the plot is kind of tropey, but it doesn't even have characters to help hold it up, and there wasn't even really drama to hold up everything. So yeah, that was a bummer for me. I always tell myself I'm always open to trying more Sarah J. Maas. Maybe I will read Silver Flames eventually. I don't know. Book number 4 I do still have because this author means so much to me, but I will never reread it. I was so disappointed. It was one of those books that you wait for months, you pre-order it, it arrives, you read it in a day, and it just breaks your heart. And that is Fractal Noise by Christopher Paolini. I love The Inheritance Cycle. I've talked about it a lot. I really liked To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. I think I gave that 4 or 5 stars too, and that's the world this is set in. And there are some things I really do like about this book, but it's like 200 pages too short. I don't think Christopher Paolini knows how to write books that are only 280 pages long. And kind of what happens is we get some great plot buildup, a decent bit of character work, and then the pacing just like shoots itself in the foot, and we miss all these other things that we need to kind of stay invested in this world. And the way it ends, I understand, has some weight to it, but I wanted more. We kind of needed more to really hold the story up, because it's basically like when you watch a B movie, like a B Sci-Fi Channel horror movie, right? Where absolutely nothing happens, really, for like the first hour and a half, and all of a sudden 5 people are dead. It broke my heart. It really broke my heart. I'll never get rid of it. I love Christopher Paolini. I've been reading him since Eragon first came out, and so I've personally watched how he has grown and improved as a writer, and I love that, and I really appreciate that. but I think he needed to kind of expand this a little bit more. It needed to feel less rushed and less constrained. But guys, those are some books that I just didn't like from authors that otherwise I really love. Thank you for watching. Again, I'm sorry for a little bit of the chaos on the channel. Gotta deal with life stuff, but I'm excited for the stuff that we have in the works. I am also going to try and record my July plans tonight. So I'll have a couple of these type of casual videos in the pipeline ready in between vlogs. But thank you for all your support. Thank you so much for 100 subscribers. I cannot believe that. And even the views are reflecting, like, a lot of you guys are continually watching new uploads, and that just means so much to me. So thank you all for that. If you are new here, please consider checking out some of my other content and maybe dropping a like, a comment, or subscribing if you liked some of the other stuff that I have done or have talked about. But I will catch you next time.